Hello guys, welcome back to World of Tanks Explained. Today we'll be looking at the best vehicles throughout the tiers. This is gonna go through tier 4 to tier 7. Alright? Because tier 7 is the highest vehicle I have. So starting with tier 4, you have the Hetzer and the Panzer 4D. I don't personally like the Panzer 4D. The loading is slow. The bubble that goes down, you know what I'm talking about, like the little ring thing that shows your reload when you're in sniper mode and it goes down. It's very slow. I don't like that. And besides, the Hetzer's a tank destroyer, so it's made to destroy tanks. Personally, honestly, if you want turreted tanks, go for the Panzer 4D. But for tank destroyers, you get the Hetzer. Um, so out of the tier 4 vehicles, the Hetzer is the best vehicle. Um, Out of the Panzer IV in both of them. So, and then we have another Panzer IV, but it's the Off G. And then we got the Sturmgeschütz for tier 5. Then we also have the Leopard. All of these cost 400k, um, which isn't much to work up to because I already have 379,000. And besides, I'm a tier 7, so it's going to be easy for me to do anyways because I'm getting more and more credits. Um, so I think out of the best for tank destroyer, there's only one, so it's gonna be the Sturmgeschütz 3. Out of turreted tanks, like actual tanks, not tank destroyers, the best one is the Panzer 4G. Now I know the Leo. I know some of you are like, oh hey, the Leo is better. AKA the Leo. Sometimes we call it that, but for short, when you're typing in chat, you go, oh well, this Leopard isn't doing the right thing. Maybe I should guide him. And you say, Leo, no, get over here. We need you here, or else we are going to lose. So we say that for short, if you didn't know that. And yes, people say the Leopard has a good multi-shot. And yes, it's a multi-shot. And when you're tier 5 and you're versing tier 5s and 4s and 6s, it's relatively good. It does some damage. But when you're facing tier 7s, it ain't shit. It don't do shit. Okay? It just doesn't. And in my opinion, the Panzer 4G is just better. Like I said, this video is off of my opinion. So, yeah. Now we're gonna go to tier 6s. So we have the Nashorn, Jagdpanzer 4, VK30P, VK36H, VK30D, and VK28.01. For tank destroyers, the Jagdpanzer is the best one. Now the Nashorn is okay, but the Jagdpanzer is better because the Nashorn is just it's doesn't have a top turret, so you can always get up behind it and shoot from the back, and it would do tons of damage. Unlike the Jagdpanzer, the Jagdpanzer, because it has fully turreted. It doesn't have a turret, but it has like top armor and back armor, which makes it a little harder to penetrate. Unlike the Nashorn, but if you're facing a Nashorn and you're a lower tier than the Nashorn, I would advise you not to underestimate them because they sometimes I've underestimated them in battle, and sometimes it gets me killed in the game. They can be unpredictable at times, but out of both tank destroyers, they are the Jagdpanzer is better. Out of all the VKs, I've played every single one of them. I have every single one of them. The VK28.01 is the best vehicle because when you first get it, it's very mobile. It's very easy to upgrade. The other ones took me quite a couple of days, probably a week or more, to upgrade the other ones. And some of them are very slow at first, besides the VKD. VKD is actually pretty fast. I think the worst out of these would be the VK36H. I think that's the worst one, my opinion wise. But if you want the Tiger, you're going to have to get the VK36H. Now, tier 7, there's several tanks. So, there's the Satan. For tank destroyers, there's Saint Ammo and the Jagdpanther. Jagdpanther's better. Again, the Saint Ammo. It has pretty good armor, because I have one against it. But it still has that top not covered. So, if it's on an angle and you're shooting at it, you can easily penetrate and hurt some of the crew members, just like that. Whereas the Jagdpanther, if it's at an angle, it can still protect its crew a little bit, but you still have a chance to pen through it. The Panther's pretty good too. It's got frontal sloped armor, and then when you fully upgrade the turret and the gun, it's pretty good as well. It's got a very long distance, very good penning. But I think out of all of them, the Tiger one's the best. Throughout World War II, the Tiger one was the best. And I'm gonna end this video here because pretty much that's all I have. So stay tuned for my next video.